Hello, hi. Um, Out in a public place, and I'm having to talk louder, I guess, than I feel comfortable, or hold the camera closer to my face than I feel comfortable. I'd like you to be out here. I'll figure this out at some point where you're not having to stare at me in order to see me and hear me. Um, but I am just moving forward with what I have presented in front of me and not waiting and staring at a tear, waiting for it to move, to reveal to me the light behind it. I already know, so I'm going to move to it. Deeds, it's in my book. Um, During the writing of this book and how it became poetry and all of that history, recent history of this story, how it unveiled itself. Um, the little flat that I was in, I spent what money I had at the time thinking that I was nesting for healing and that custody of my child and my life savings was pending. Um, that turned out to be a lie. But in love, I was tending to my trauma and um, fighting to live what I had preached and also helped guide and hold and shelter the hearts of others that have been in tragedy and trauma. Um, Applying it to myself and trying to mend and tend to my own wounds mentally, emotionally, spiritually, trying to reach medical care physically. Um, so I put things on my bulletin, on my whiteboard. Uh, Sometimes things just to help me get through day-to-day tasks, Lean, Six Sigma, um, working my brain through its traumatic state and not surrendering, gaining control, believing that I could, that it was by design, my choice. Um, I did not have to relinquish myself to my brain and the way it naturally, either by design or by nature, was developed and designed through my creation and experience up to this point in my life. So, holding on to those truths and love, and on there things to help me survive, because that was the focus at that point, surviving from one day to the next, trying to end one day somewhat healed, somewhat one step closer um, to more days. I reached a certain point of confidence and faith and manifestations of truth in my life, breaking ground in my garden. That I ended up writing on that whiteboard, life beyond survival. And that was important, imperative even for me, my mental health and continuing my physical health and eventually reaching my child that was taken from me and try to mend relationships with my other children and them with each other, leaving the relationship with their mother in other people's hands and her own. And now here I am, trying to look at life beyond just surviving, having not just a day, another day, or another one, or a week, maybe a month, who knows, years, decades. Truth is, and it's in my book, has not broken ground yet. Honest truth is, if I'm journaling, I can't say with truth and loving myself in truth, which is the only way to love. isn't truth, it's in my book. Anything else is a manipulation and will fail. Leaving the flowers to wilt. I don't know if I'm experiencing rebirth and a regrowth, a healing, or if I'm slipping away, fighting and scratching and crawling to the inevitable. I mean, we all are, but I mean sooner rather than later. It's hard to get up each day, find motivation, joy, when you think that your life may have been taken away from you, but yet believing in something more, being sustained by something far greater, by love that runs deeper than any one person or even a single species, even humanity. Well, I drank the Kool-Aid as a child, and I've been drinking my whole life. So if I live or die anytime soon, I'm still going to be drinking from that same sweet nectar of love and belief. Like I have said so many times to my abuser, to my children, and to others, the future's unknown. Why paint something ugly on that unknown canvas of the future ahead? Paint something lovely, paint something beautiful. What's the best that could happen? It's all in watercolor anyway. Life is going to wash it away and present to you itself as you travel through. Or just don't paint anything at all and enjoy the space you're in at the moment in time right in front of you. Look to that which will be left when you do go. And what gift do you bestow with your presence here? Was it all about you? Was there a we? I said it before, I'll say it again. Eternity does not happen by itself. Nothing does. There's an earning to keep. Emotion and energy and flow to maintain. Hey. And as irrelevant as it may seem, my energy, yours, us, we, individually matters. So I feel like, regardless of what happens to me, what life presents itself to me, especially sharing boundaries with others, especially boundaries that are intimate and personal, especially ones that involve domestication and children. Children, why drag them through adult misery? I just can't understand. And yet, I was blind to what was happening right in front of me. Oh, the story of humanity, reflected not just in me, I hope we all can see. It's a reflection of each of us, manifested aloud, what we allow. Not feeling safe, creating a design because we just can't trust the one that created us to begin with. And truly does sustain us. We don't sustain ourselves. Oh well, this is just me journaling, trying to figure things out. I'm working through a little anxiety, and this is my next step in my mental health treatment to myself, since I don't have a PhD to talk to. Thank you, VA. Get your shit together, man. There's people's lives out here that are relying on your services, people that believe you're actually providing them. Really? Can't get me in front of a PhD. Couldn't get me a job. I waited almost damn 2 months, wasted all that time, because you said, don't do anything else, we got it. Especially your credentials resume, no problem. What a freaking joke. Waste your taxpayers, people. I'm telling you, fraud, waste, and abuse. People just words without deeds. And then the deeds that do go by, people turn a blind eye. It's a damn shame. Hell, I just gotta spend my time in my truth. Keep moving forward. Feathers in my wings. I'm gonna keep soaring. I have to. Or my whole life was a waste and a lie. As hard as it was to write this book, as long as it took, and all the distractions, and sitting on a shelf and just pondering by myself, hiding it in secrecy. It's a hell of a lot harder living it. It ever was to write it. All right. Long video. I could chat all day. I do. That's part of the problem. Sure hope I get somebody else to talk to besides myself and the birds and the trees and everything else that's out there. You know, humanity. I'm calling. Do you see me? Until a garden, we meet again. I know I'm gonna continue to try to be well and nurture them. Other than that, I just don't know where else to go. I got a future ahead of me I didn't see, and I've started something now. I have no idea what to do with it, and yet I feel like I'm doing it anyway and trying to figure out what it is I just did. I made a whole bunch of playlists. Sound like a good idea. I felt some inspired. I want to share my art. I want to share influence of music. I want to share science. I want to unlock these volumes of books, right? It's like a easy tap the brake cell. Feels good to be able to speak again, even if no one's listening. It feels good to at least hear myself being myself. That ain't for nothing. And the opportunity's there, my children can see me as myself too. And that is everything. Alright, you got to go. Can't keep crying. You gotta be smiling. There's joy to find. Be well. Nurture sin.